on Boogie Chassis. Where have we been? What have we been up to? Do I ever actually fix anything? And what's broken on the shop truck now?
Hey everybody, welcome back. How you been? How have I been? Well, I finally figured out why the Boogie shop truck was dying under braking. Had a heart attack. I got in a substantial car accident. Then the Boogie shop truck left me stranded again. I also got some updates on the Boogie shop truck, and we're going to talk about what's coming up next. Now, as it turns out, the carburetor was the problem the entire damn time. When I bought this truck, it ran great. Had a factory Hitachi carb, and over here in the fender well, it had a bunch of vacuum relays that were run by a computer that controlled the Hitachi carburetor. Couldn't stand the thought of cleaning all this up, painting everything, and having all those vacuum lines running everywhere. So I went with a Redline Weber carburetor. This is a 3236 DGV, and it's extremely common on these old mini trucks. I did a ton of research when I was looking into doing this, and it's supposed to be a really easy swap. So after fighting with fuel pressure, fuel pumps, the ignition system, and 3 brake boosters, I finally got tired of it and assumed it had to be something else. Around that time, engineering said that it's common sometimes for carburetors to spill a little bit of fuel into the intake manifold under braking. Now that raw fuel can cause the engine to stumble a little bit, which sounds exactly like what was going on with my truck. Coincidentally, I'd also posted on Mighty Ram 50 describing the issue I was having and asking if anybody had any insight. I got one answer back saying that this was actually a really common problem and most people just learned to deal with it. Now I have a 5th grade education, bad breath, and a welder, so I'm sure I can fix this problem. One thing I was very careful to get correctly was the orientation of the carburetor on the manifold. If you don't know anything about carburetors, this is a float bowl. In my research, every other installation of this carburetor on one of these Mighty Max or Ram 50 trucks has this float bowl facing toward the firewall. I looked around at some installs people had done on Toyotas and Mazdas with this exact same carburetor and saw that their float bowls were all facing toward the front of the truck. I took a look around at the carburetor and realized there was nothing stopping me from rotating at 180 degrees. So faster than you can say kiss my ass, I spun that carburetor around and all the problems went away. I did have to rotate the throttle cable 180 degrees as well, so that it went over to the driver's side fender of the truck, so that it came at the carburetor the correct way. It does make adjusting the idle mixture and idle speed screws a little bit more difficult, but I'll take that trade-off. And I cannot tell you how nice it is to come up to a stop sign without having to heel toe the truck to keep it from dying. Now I know what you're thinking. How could such a virile, handsome, rugged, clever, funny, great dancing 25-year-old stud like me have a heart attack? Well, thanks, but I'm actually 43. Either way, Chuck set me up with his veterinarian. They gave me a stint, a little bit of tiger blood, and I'm good. Now I've been dropping hints about a big build coming up on the channel. Let me know down in the comments if you noticed. Matt from Downtime Designs picked up an 87 4Runner on a 2-wheel drive truck chassis that he picked up from my man Ken at Ken's Chop Shop. And Matt wanted to do a full build on this 4Runner. He wanted me to do it. I'm talking stock floor body drop, 3/4 frame. It was going to be epic. Well, remember when I was bitching about scratching the wheels on the Boogie shop truck? Me and my buddy Ray were cleaning up those wheels and needed to make a parts run to the local supply house. And since the 4Runner was in the street and needed to be driven anyway, I figured, why not take it on the 2-mile drive to the parts house to pick up a polishing head? What could go wrong? An old lady ran a red light and smashed the truck right in the front. Both of us swore we had a green light and it just looked like it was going to go nowhere. Until I went to the bank at the corner of the intersection and got video proof that I had the green light and I was exonerated.
In the end, Matt got the 4Runner back, got paid by the insurance company, and has since taken it to another shop. So all the best there. I'm sure that thing's going to turn out really nice. But it going somewhere else is probably for the best, because I was at the meetup spot with the homies for a local event. The truck drove perfectly fine that morning, but I went to restart it to go to the actual event. The truck failed to proceed again. And after minimal jerking around with it, it's pretty obvious it wasn't going anywhere under its own power, because the truck was just electrically dead. After a little bit of looking around, figured that after 35 years of playing nice, the ignition switch had had enough and it just decided it was done with life. So, pretty expensive tow, $40 ignition switch, and we're back in business. A little while back in the real world, I got 2 new jobs in a month. Now I've lost all my time at work to write YouTube jokes on the toilet. Now all this means that the videos are going to be coming out pretty slowly for a while. I was trying to do about 1 a month, but now they're just going to come out whenever they come out. And all of this means I'm not going to mini nats this year either. I don't have anything planned for the Boogie shop truck in the near future, but I am doing a bunch of upgrades on the Boogie Daily in the spring, and I have a whole new project coming up very soon. Now the truck looks pretty much the same from the outside, aside from the newly polished wheels, which are a huge improvement. Up underneath the bed, I redid the gas tank vent. I rated the Vibrant catalog and pieced together a really solid vent setup. This allows me to actually fill the tank all the way and makes the pump shut off like normal. In a previous installment, I added a remote port so I can feed air to the truck's air tank. Since the factory gas filler door was empty, I used it for the port and threw in a gas tank pressure gauge for funsies. Recently, the truck got a new Slam Specialties air manifold and air lines, along with swapping from 8-inch rear bags to 6-inchers. The new manifold has added a whole lot of control to the height of the truck, and the 6-inch bags have gotten the rear of the truck under control when I'm driving super low. Since I added the Slam manifold, I put in a new pair of SMC water traps too.
Hold on a second.
The interior got a new carpet kit from OC Carpets. I added a wideband O2 sensor to help dialing in the Weber carburetor. And the Boss head unit's doing pretty well. I'm really glad I got a head unit with a volume knob, and having Android Auto is totally rad. The shallow mount JL audio subs are doing pretty well, though I wish I had space for a bigger box. The tiny cab of the truck isn't great for bass, but I'm pretty happy with the result. I've got to admit, slapping this video together has got me all horny to do a new build. It's been a few months since I had any interest in being in the garage, so to keep the excitement rolling, I'm going to do a contest. Comment down below and tell me what you'd like to see built next time here on Boogie Chassis. The first person to comment on the project that gets the most votes will get a prize. This is not a raffle. It's simply a thank you from me to you for being viewers. That's all I got for today, and this is not goodbye, it's just I'll see you later, and thanks for watching.